Welcome to this InterAcct demonstration video on the creditors system. In this video we're going to have a look at what information is stored under our supplier and creditor files, as well as how to raise a purchase order and receive goods in underneath the system. There are a number of different methods in InterAcct of being able to receive in purchase orders and as well as raising purchase orders. We're only going to look at some of the basics in this. What we're looking at here on the screen is a supplier file. The supplier file has a main contact, but we can have any number of additional contacts within this company, as well as different addresses where we can pick up goods from. Just like with our customer file, we've got notes in here that we can store in contact history, but we've also got some things that we don't have under our customer file, like banking details and how long it is from when we order goods to when we receive them in. The system has all the other accounting information as far as creditors' totals. Invoices in dispute can also be viewed underneath here, and links back to items that the supplier can supply, as well as purchase orders. From here we can jump straight into a purchase order for the supplier. We can see the date that the purchase order was raised, whether the purchase order relates to a job, or to a stock purchase, or to a sales order. Underneath here we can see details of what items it is that we are wanting to buy for this particular supplier. It's got our supplier's part number, our own part number, the quantity that we want, the buy price as well. The system allows us to have different units of measure as well. So if this item was instead purchased in a box of 1,000 rather than individually, we can put in here what the cost is. Here we're saying how many individual items we want, and it converts that through to what it would be in our supplier's unit of measure. So in actual fact we might want 2,000 products, and now it tells us here that we're going to order 2 boxes of that. When we print the purchase order out, we've got the details in here showing that they want 1,000 boxes and what they cost per box and what the total cost is going to be. We can email this directly out to our supplier if we're wanting to. If we've got multiple suppliers that could potentially provide these same products, we can mark the purchase order as being an RFQ. It brings up an option for being able to put in all the alternate suppliers that we might have for this product. When we print the purchase order then, it's sending out a request for quote to all of our suppliers that doesn't show them the prices, but we can email that out to all those suppliers in just one hit. If we've partly received the goods from the supplier and wanting to chase them down about what's happening there, we can send them an order reminder which shows us what quantities were ordered, what's already been received, and what we still expect. Just so our supplier doesn't make a mistake there, we label this an order reminder, not an actual purchase order. The system stores all the information under the purchase order of what's already been received under delivery dockets, what's been received under creditors' invoices. If we go into the accounts payable menu, we've got links here to delivery dockets, and from here we can link back to the purchase orders. It suggests the items that we might want to receive based on what the supplier has got left outstanding on that purchase order, and if we've received everything, it's just a matter of agreeing that that's what's come in. That's then put those items into stock, and now they're ready to be used on that job, or if they're purchasing for stock, they'll now be available to issue to jobs or sales. After we've got the delivery in, we're going to probably receive the creditor's invoice at a later stage. We can key in the details of what the creditor's invoice total was, link it back to that purchase order again, and confirm the prices. If the prices have changed, we can come in here and change what those prices are. It will then update the system to make sure that the next time we buy them, that it now knows what the last cost was. If there are differences in the cost, it will bring up a warning here to tell us that we still haven't allocated all the costs. That may relate to a price difference from the purchase order to the creditor's invoice, if our suppliers are able to do that with us, or it may relate to costs that we didn't expect on the purchase order or didn't know what they would be, such as freight costs or other services. We can still key those in even if they're not on the purchase order. We don't need to go back and amend the old purchase order. We can just say, hey, we've got an expense allocation here that doesn't relate to a purchase order. Let's link that back to the cost of freight coming in and say that's $81 in freight. That invoice is now all complete. The goods are in, and the general ledger has all been updated, the job ledgers, everywhere else that needs to be updated in the system. If we wanted to pay our suppliers, it's not a difficult process. We can do check, direct and EFT payments, but there's also our auto payment system, which allows us to very quickly look at all suppliers that we might need to pay up to a certain date. It then brings through the details of all the suppliers that we need to pay. We can see in here our bolt supplier that we just had a moment ago is in there saying that it's ready to be paid, but it's due later than the other date. This supplier's coming up with a warning, hey, we normally are set to pay them by EFT, but we don't have banking details. Let's fix that up before we get moving on this. It can also give us summaries and pay our payroll as well at the same time if we're wanting to pay it in that way. If you have any questions about the InterAcct Creditor system or would like to see more information, please contact sales@interact.com.au. Thank you.